What's good, everybody? My name is Cinema's Favorite Idiot, and let's talk about weapons.
This is a true story that happened right here in my town. A lot of people die in a lot of really weird ways in this story, but you're not gonna find it in the news.
I don't know if I'm gonna have an intro after I do that. That'd be kind of cool. Like a little. You ever watch those biology videos by? Oh God, what's the name? Crash Course. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about weapons. Weapons deserves to be under the could watch category that I've said. So these are the type of movies that are weird. You could enjoy. You maybe secretly enjoyed. I don't know. There's variability, right, in the way people perceive a certain movie. This movie is definitely in that could watch category. Me personally, I thought it was a decent movie, but it had a lot of problems in my opinion. It was, as this video title I think will state, it's a good problem because it's very original, and the direction the actor had, not the actor, oh my God, the direction the director had, but I almost felt like it was repetitive, annoying, and ultimately my biggest problem is that there was a lot of things in this movie that were just left to die, you know what I mean? Never got explained. The director is Zach Cregger, who did Barbarian beforehand in 2022. God, that guy has a specific style. And if you watch Barbarian and then you watch Weapons, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, it's even reminiscent to the ending. It's crazy. But in terms of the director, he's very original with his style. And in Barbarian, I think it works a lot better. By the way, Barbarian is a really effed up movie. He has a very specific direction and a very specific style to him. So, for example, or the way he does it, simply, the story follows a string of different POV switches, and they all kind of connect, like different lines in a criminal board, you know what I mean? Like one of those things. They all connect, but you start on one POV, and then it switches to another. He will focus on one character and their path through the story, right? And then he'll immediately switch to another and their path to that story, and that same story, then to another, and then stream that. And then they all kind of connect at one focus point at the end, and it all kind of comes together, if you get what I mean. And in Barbarian, that worked really well because he did it 3 times, and it kind of filled in the gaps. For this one, whenever the movie got momentum, it switched POVs, and it got really repetitive, really annoying, in my opinion. There were 2 POV switches where it was just I was so into that story. The tension was building, the stress was building. I was thoroughly creeped out, and then it just switched. So let's just pretend I'm talking real quick, something big just happened, and then boom, you're on to another character. Hi, my name is Johnny. I'm about to tell you the secrets of the universe and how to live a good life. Bang. It was on to another person, flashback into time and how their story starts in the actual overall story. So it would repeat, and it would show their POV through the same events. You just bought a golf tutorial or something. The guy was just about to fix your swing, and he's just here's the secret to taking off 5 swings from your score. My name is Christopher. Let me tell you about the secret. Boom, and then it would ultimately end on the centralized storyline where all these characters are sort of meshing, all their segments are sort of meshing. And so he did this 7 times, and whenever the movie gained momentum, it just instantly dissipated, and you were actually kind of annoyed that it happened. Thoroughly creepy. It's thoroughly creepy, and it's, I think, its own separate category than a horror movie. You can't treat that movie as a horror movie. And so whenever you got thoroughly creeped out, or you thought the story was really getting somewhere, it would just instantly flash back to another character and their past POV through that story. So yeah, I thought the pacing was kind of atrocious at points. And now here, really quick, let me just tell you my other big problem, which is there were a lot of holes in the story that were never explained. A lot of elements in the story that were never explained. And so I'm going to go on spoiler alert here, so please skip to this time right here if you don't want to get spoiled, because I'll say some story elements here. So for instance, let's just say the tree, okay? The tree where Gladys, the big baddie, took off branches, right? And then used it to control people. I mean, you could kind of glean from the idea that she was essentially stealing life force from the kids to stay alive and stay healthy, for instance. Or when Josh Brolin's character Archer had a dream about his kid and a house with a hallucinated weapons AR-15 or AR-47 with a time on it. Like, it was so weird. Never got explained. There's elements where Gladys showed up in other people's dreams and thoughts and in real time. And just generally how the deep dark magic in Barbarian, he explained pretty much everything. I mean, you wondered how the thing in the house stayed alive so much as it did with all the injuries it sustained. But in this movie, the underlying principles were never explained. And look, I'm usually okay with dark magic. Yeah, it's, I guess, like that. Fantasy items and fantasy elements are never explained because that's what they are. They're fantasy and they shouldn't have to be explained. On this one, I was just left, kind of expected this, but can you explain why? You know what I mean? Like, how does it mind control them? How do they, little piece of DNA, how do they know exactly where that person is now? I mean, like, you can go along with it, that's fine, but it just never gets explained, and I think that's a bigger problem. Let me just quickly finish with this. I think overall this movie is a step in the right direction. I think Hollywood has gotten really unoriginal lately. The big sequel craze and everything. This movie was original. The direction was original. The story, I guess you could kind of see it as being original, and I think that's a good thing. But I think this movie has some problems, and so I would call it a good problem. Zach Gregor actually obviously has good direction, but ultimately this movie left me feeling very unsatisfied. I left the movie theater and the car ride home not really sure what I had watched. Didn't really accomplish anything. I didn't feel like there was any big lessons. The characters all were kind of dislikable in a fashion. The only character I was rooting for was Alex, the little kid. The crap that he had to go through. Yeah. Weapons. Its own separate category. You cannot treat this as a horror movie. It is a weird, creepy, effed up movie that has its moments. Has some good scary moments too, I should add that. But ultimately I think falls short. So if you guys ever decide to or ever want to conversate, I'm trying to create a Discord, or you can just hit me down in the comments, and I'd be really curious to see what everyone else thinks. Again, my opinion is not final. Could be a hot take, I guess, to a lot of people. So, don't take me too seriously. I don't take me too seriously. I love movies. I'm sure a lot of you guys do that are watching right now. So if you feel like it. Always good to talk about movies. I love talking about movies. That's why I'm here. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This was Weapons 2025.